Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Joni Young and I'm going to show you all step by step how to paint this pretty lighthouse in the spring with cherry blossoms around it. So I'm working on a 12 by 16 stretched and primed canvas. You can use something smaller, larger, or similar to this. And I've got the following colors: neon pink, neon orange, titanium white, light blue violet, and dioxazine purple. So I'm going to go ahead and get started by just wetting the canvas a little bit first. I'm going to use a number 50 filbert brush, and just by adding a little bit of water like this to the canvas, it's going to make it a lot easier to spread that paint around. So I'm going to begin the painting by taking a little bit of white and a little bit of blue with a tiny bit of purple. So I'm not going to mix all the colors to make one color on the palette. I'm just going to go around, dot and dab, and just start to very loosely blend it out and paint the canvas so that some spots are a little bit more purple and some are a little bit more blue and all those other colors in between. And take a little bit more white. I'm gonna add a little bit more paint here, and then I'm gonna pick up another brush, one of my round, soft, poofy mop brushes. Got this one here. And I'm just going to get it a little bit wet, and then what I'm going to do is just blend that paint around little circles, making it a little bit softer. I'm just going to come in around the top with another mop brush and add a little bit more blue and purple. I want it to be a little bit darker, and I'm going to just keep going with these little circles. And a little bit of white. Just come back in and soften now. This will help it dry a little bit darker than the rest, but it will not dry. It won't dry too dark. So that's what I'm kind of trying to do right now, is just prevent it from drying way too dark. Okay, so I'm going to leave it like that, and now I'm going to come in with a smaller brush. I've got a smaller filbert brush here. This is a number 6. Feel free to use anything a bit bigger or smaller. I'm going to get it wet, and I'm going to take a little bit of my white and a little bit of neon orange. And what I want to do is just create a few little scoops in here. That will be behind the lighthouse. We're going to be covering up part of these with the lighthouse, but it's nice to have a little bit of this behind. And this is the best way to do it, is by painting these first and then coming over with the lighthouse. Okay, then I'm going to take a little bit more my orange and white And I'm going to add a little line right here. Make a little rectangle like this. Actually, I'm going to bring this up just a little bit higher. I have one on the side, and we're going to paint it, this window, so it looks like it's circular, right? On an angle like this. The one in the front will be an even rectangle, and then the one on the side will be slant, diagonal, line on either side straight down. Same with on this side, and that's how you can get that round look. And you can also add a line and a little arch like this, and then one on top. I'm going to come inside with a little bit more white. And I'm going to take some orange and purple. We're going to mix the two and make like a dark brown, close to like a burnt sienna, a little bit more on the purple side. I'm going to come inside in between these windows. And I'm going to go across and take off part of the height of those. We're going to outline. Pull about 1/2 inch down on either side. You still want to have that arch. That's just like the railing. And that's going to come out a little bit wider. And then on the outside, and then we're going to pull another arch. And it's going to go right around like this. And then I'm going to go right underneath, do that again with a little bit more purple this time for a shadow. And then we're going to go across. Paint a skinny rectangle like this. I'll take a little bit of water on my brush to help loosen that paint out. And I'm going to add a slant, a little diagonal line like this. You can make these little pointy tips on either end. And I'm just gonna outline in purple, so it'll be nice and dark. Go right under, have a line here. And then we're going to go up. So it looks more like a triangle. And just paint that in. And then I'm going to come inside with a little bit of orange, purple, and white. Make it just a little bit lighter. So we're painting a smaller triangle inside the bigger triangle. And then we're going to have a triangle right here. From here, here, and here. And then we still have that little point that comes out there, and it all makes sense once the painting is done. Then we're going to come in here, pull across, take a little bit more white. Okay, now I'm going to take my purple and I'll define the lines a little bit better. Okay, we've got that little line there. And a little bit more purple inside here. You can even make these make it a little bit fancier with some arches at the top. And then I'm just going to add a little line on the top like that. Then I'm going to take a little bit of white. I'm going to add a little highlight here. Soften this a bit. Soften any harsh lines. Add a little bit more white in here. A little bit more blue and purple here on the side. Okay, with purple or whatever dark color that you are using. Maybe you're doing this in black and white. That'll look really nice too. I'm just going to add a line. And there's another smaller, lighter in color railing up here as well. And I'm going to switch over to one of my flat, I've got a mini flat brush here. It's more of a square end, right? So I can make lines easier. This is a number 4. I'm just going to get my brush wet, and I'm going to take a little bit of blue here, and I'm going to turn my brush on the side like this, and I'm just going to add lots of little faint lines. If it doesn't show up, then go into your purple, orange, whatever darker color of your choice. Just something that will show up against the background. A bit of water to help loosen that paint up. Make this a little bit thicker in here before I come in with my lines. Then a little bit of white inside. And a little bit more white right here. Okay, so now I'm ready to come in with these lines. You just want to try to do it fairly quickly, straight up and down. If you do it quickly, it seems to be a lot easier. If you go too slowly, then that's where it can start to go a little bit crooked. I'm gonna add a little dark line right there. Another one right underneath. A little bit more purple so this shows up. I'm just going to come inside with a little bit of my orange and white. Then a little bit more white. I want to create a really warm, comforting light inside there. I'm going to add a hint of that peachy color inside. And then go into my blue, purple. Bring this out a little bit wider. I'm going to go around like this, slight arches. Purple. And have that sort of wrap around the side like that. I'm gonna do this a little bit at a time. I'm gonna take some more white. I'm gonna start adding some highlights, just subtle highlights here. And then a window. So I'm just gonna add a rectangle, a little bit of blue and purple. You could add just a little square one if you want. And I'm gonna have it sort of arched like this, so we still feel that round shape. And then maybe about a 1/4 of an inch under, we're going to do a little loop like this. Take a little bit of your purple and blue, or just purple, just a dark shade. And we're going to gradually bring it down lower. Add a little bit more purple inside. Some white. A little bit of white and orange, a little bit of purple. And we'll go back inside here for another highlight. And across this one too. I'm going to take just a little bit of blue here. And go inside the windows a bit. Partially over that light, the peach and the white. So give us a little bit more of a window look. Okay, then I'm going to go in to my white, add a line in the middle, and across, down the middle, and then across. More white. Okay, I'm going to come in with the second window. Just going to add a little bit more purple in here. Okay, the second window I'm going to add on a slant. Now I have another lighthouse like this in a different season. It's in the fall and it's got a lot of beautiful peach and violets and purples and blues and golds. And I'll leave a link either at the end of this video or down in the description. So just click on below the video and you'll see it. Okay, so this one is on an angle like this. The way it pops out, it'll make sense once it's done, you'll see. I'm gonna go underneath again, this line. There we go, and again here. You'll see how it comes out. So start here with a corner of your brush, go up and around, and see how we start to build that depth. I'm going to have another window right here. This one's going to have like a little bit of blue that comes down inside of it like that. We'll take some white. And go over my white parts and highlights. I come down in here, take part of that window off, add white, and then I'm going to go across like this, and a little off to the side on an angle, and then on the top as well. And I'm going to take some blue. And add a line underneath like this. It goes straight and then down. Add a little bit of blue inside, a little bit of white, and down and across for our window frame. Take a little bit of neon orange and white. Just outlining this window, but I accidentally went over the white that I want to have on the very outside. I'm going to bring this window just up a little bit more. Still on a slant, but just not as much. Just using a little bit of purple here. And I'm going to go in for a little bit more blue here on the side. Let's come in with a few more shadows. A little bit more purple in with the blue. A little bit of blue and white and purple, and I'm just going to bring this up a little bit higher right here just to balance it out. A little bit more of that white, tiny bit of purple and orange. And just add little hints of this peachy tan color. Just gonna go over to my number 6 filbert brush now and add some tinted white with a bit of that tan color, just a little bit more white. My brush is pretty dry. This will help give me that more of that stone look to my lighthouse. All lighthouses are different, but this is the type of one that I want to have. Maybe just a little bit of purple in there. Fine if you go in both directions, side to side, scumble, up and down, scumble. Can give you that illusion of a stone. Again, just going back and balancing. And then clean brush, a little bit of blue and purple. I'll come around the side here. Those give me a little bit of shadows. A little bit more orange and white. And I'm just going to pull in this direction. Get a little bit more light in here. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is take my angle mop brush. This is in 1 inch. I'm going to take some blue, a little bit of purple. And we're just going to add some bushes down here at the bottom. And then just start to blend it out by using little circles and working my way up. Then I'm going to take a little bit of white and work that in. Tap, tap, tap. And then right about here, and add some lines for some steps. If you guys like lighthouses, I've got a few different tutorials with the lighthouses in them. I mentioned the fall one, and I've got one in a fantasy kind of it's just a fantasy type of one. It's kind of hard to explain. I'll just leave a link for that and let you guys see. Okay, then I'm going to take a little bit of white and just go above. Okay, so for the next color, I'm gonna add my light olive green to my purple, and then I'm gonna come in with my pink cherry blossom flowers. Use another mop brush, and I'm gonna take some purple with some of my green, and I'm gonna make a nice deep dark color here. You can use black and green too if you want. And I'm gonna start down here, carefully come in underneath that purple. And then as we get up over to the corner here, and I'm just going to tuck this back under this bar. That way it won't shake all over the place. I'm going to turn my brush this way now. You get around here, and then I'm going to start to turn it over. I'm just going to scumble out or dry brush out. It's going to be sort of an old-fashioned, partially sepia sort of a look. Okay, then I'm going to take my olive green, just push and tap like this. And add a little bit. You can use any green that you want. I just really like this one. It's really a warm green, like there's a lot of yellow in it, and of course yellow looks really nice with purple. Okay, I'm going to add a few vines. I'm going to use my number 6 filbert. I'm going to take a bit of the leftover purple and green, and I'm going to come up, twist, go over. There's a little bit of white in here as well, so it shows up a little bit better. A little bit of white. You can layer your vines. You can have them really like braiding in and going around, twisting around one another. It's nice to have a little bit of white in here though, just because it is going to dry a little bit darker, and we want to have some of our vines have that shiny, sort of a satiny look they can get to them. Okay, I'm going to come in and start adding some pink and white. We use just a little bit of green to tone it, ease into it. And I'm just going to push for a few little flower petals. We can overlap and give them 5 petals if we want. You can make any kind of flowers you want, really. And sometimes just little buds are nice too. We don't want them to all be the same size. We have some smaller ones. I like using a filbert brush for painting my flowers because it's got that round end and it really helps get nice looking flower petals. So you want to have some areas where you have a bunch of flowers together, and then some areas where they're a little bit more spaced out. So then you can come in over top and add a little highlight or some more petals, because it will dry darker, so it's nice to come back in after and just add a little bit of white here and there. These are just really loose flowers, not like really realistic looking ones. Now I have quite a few flower painting tutorials that I've done lately, really in-depth close-ups of hydrangeas, fuchsias, bird of paradise, pansies, tiger lilies, stargazer lilies. You'll find a lot of them on Patreon, but there's also some here on my YouTube channel. And I'll leave a link for my Patreon below this video. And you also find links on our Facebook group too for Patreon, and we also have a special patrons only Facebook group where there's contests you can enter. So there's some great prizes. It's a lot of fun. Really nice group of artists of all levels. So you never have to feel nervous or intimidated or afraid of sharing your paintings that you've followed along for my tutorials. Everyone's really, really kind. And we're all in the same boat, right? We all just love art and painting and just want to share our love of art with everybody and what we've learned. I love this, just kind of pushing and tapping with what's left in my brush, and then come back with some white. Well, I've also got some lilac branch painting tutorials and wisteria, lots of wisteria, forget-me-nots. Flowers are so much fun to paint. Some of them can be pretty tricky. Peonies and roses. I don't paint a lot of those, but I do have, well, not peonies. I haven't painted peonies before. Maybe by the time you're seeing this video I have, though. All depends. I'm going to take a little bit more of that green and my pink. Layer over here. Oh, this painting has been so much fun. I can't wait to read your lovely comments below. I hope you guys leave a comment, or if you have any questions. Anything really in depth though, if you're, really needing some help and advice, I recommend contacting me through Patreon. I wish I had time to give every single person art advice and critiques and all that, but I don't, so I make the time for individuals who choose to support me and help fund my videos. So you can contact me through Patreon and I'll be happy to help you out there. I'm just kind of going around and wiggling out, blending out a little bit of the paint off the ends of some of these flowers just to give a little bit of a blurry look, and maybe some flower petals that are out of focus and around behind the vines here. We'll just add a little bit of pink, a little touch of pink here. I'm going to add a bit of blue, some blue dots inside the flowers for the centers. Just dot, 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 dabs. You could use green as well, or purple. Take a little bit more green here. Catch some of the lighter colored petals, because I just think all the colors sort of blending out to one another look really pretty. And maybe we've got a few leaves. Nothing's in super detail though, right? I like the focus to be on the lighthouse. Just going to take a little bit of white and peachy color here. And just add a little bit of a soft glow. And I'll take a little bit more of my green and white. A little bit of blue. lastly. A little bit of that peachy color to add to the stairs there. Okay, I'm gonna call this painting all done. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon in my next video. Bye!